Welcome to the Embodied Enlightenment podcast, your podcast for a healthier, happier, soul-fueled you. I'm your host, Carrie Merriam, here to empower you to reclaim your power and live your ultimate life. Your journey towards a greater expanded understanding of conscious awareness and how that will influence all aspects of your life begins right now. Hi everyone, welcome to Embodied Enlightenment. I'm Carrie Merriam. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in each week as we connect about consciousness and how to uplift and inspire the world. Today I have Sarah Snow. Sarah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am like ear to ear smiles because the love I have for you and the sisterhood is just booming out of me. And I'm so excited to share your wisdom.
It's mutual.
Yes, I'm so excited to share your wisdom with the audience. So if you guys don't know who Sarah Snow is, go check her out. Google her right now. She is the viral video girl. Her videos have gotten over 2 million more, 200 million. What is your video count?
I mean, yeah, there's like the videos that I've created for like my personal page, which I think is like something like around 25 million, something like that. But the clients and companies that I've worked with, I think at this point I've accumulated over 200 million views. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Incredible. So she's also been ranked in the top 100 most creative people in business by Fast Company. She is the executive producer for a lot of Jay Shetty's videos and Lewis Howes videos. And again, just so grateful to have you on the show to really talk about how to create viral videos and how to get inspiring messages to a large audience.
Yes, that's what I've been doing for the last few years. And I've learned a lot along the way. I didn't start out trying to create viral videos. I started out trying to share a message that I felt was important. And video is like, for me, like the best way I was able to express myself. So it didn't start out. I know that because I'll get people that come to me sometimes and they're like, well, how do you make a viral video? But I think that that's the wrong question. I think the question is, how could I spread this message in the most effective way possible so that it resonates with people? Because the virality will come with it.
And I think that's so important, right? No matter if you have 100 followers or 100 million followers, are you leading from a place of impact or ego?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the intention behind it? So I truly believe these videos that you're creating, they're extensions of you. And it's almost like creating your little mini Picassos every time you put a piece of work out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a lot of my own like personal perspectives go into the videos that I create visually. And I've collaborated with a lot of talented people on the scripts for videos, the concepts behind them, people that help me film them, artists that help, draw the graphics in my video. Like, there's so much collaboration that goes on to make these videos. And I think that's also one of the keys, is that with every creator that you see out there that's creating amazing viral content, there's a team behind that's making it happen. And yeah, like I feel like so fortunate that I've been able to do it in the first place, but like I just know that like I would never be able to do it without like the amazing people that I've worked with along the way.
So tell us about your humble beginnings. Tell us about before the team, because you had to start somewhere, and I'm sure people are out there that are really wanting to impact a lot of individuals through creating content, through creating visual videos. Where did you start? And maybe that will give them an opportunity to figure out where they can start.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately, trying to figure out like, well, where did this passion from coming to tell stories and sharing the things that matter to me, where did it start from? And I think that just like looking back at my life when I was like growing up as like a teenager, I was like pretty goofy and loud, and I like being the center of attention, and I like would speak up in class and do whatever I wanted, and it was pretty wild. And then when I turned 18, I was living in Israel, and I had to do military service. And in Israel, you can either do military service or national service. And in national service, you can volunteer at with like different area. Like you can volunteer at like you can volunteer with like children. You can volunteer with senior citizens. So I volunteered for 2 years at a cancer ward in a hospital. And for like the first time in my life, I had to like be quiet, and I had to listen, and I had to learn how to listen, and I had to listen to people's stories and the things that people share with you when they are diagnosed with something terminal is incredible and humbling. And that's the first time where I learned the art of truly listening to someone. And when I went out into like my job, like the first job that I got after the hospital was with a startup called Glide, and they were a video messaging app. And I started off with something, I started off just doing like their social media, and I would receive like the customer service, like messages and videos. And I noticed that they had a lot of users that were deaf and hard of hearing. And so I was like really trying to listen to them, but I couldn't. So I learned sign language, and I put out a video in sign language because I was just trying to listen. So like, I was like, hey guys, I don't really speak sign language, but this is what I know. And I just want to communicate with you guys because I see you're using the platform. And that was my first video that ever went viral, because they were so shocked that someone that wasn't deaf decided to take the time to learn some sign language and put a video out there. And then that turned into something that was much bigger than that. So I kept making those videos and connecting with the community, and I fell in love with viral video making. And I started a campaign called With Captions, where I asked other creators to add captioning to their videos. And that was my first video that got 1 million views. And at the time, I started working for a company called Upworthy, which was at the time, they were getting like 10 million monthly views a month, and I helped them scale that. And that's where I learned the art of viral video optimization. So taking a video that's good, but then turning it into something that's viral by giving it the right edits. So sometimes you'll see a video that performs well on YouTube or performs well on Instagram, but doesn't necessarily perform well on Facebook. So it's learning how to optimize videos in a way that makes them go viral. So I think that's how I started. And yeah, I've just been thinking a lot about that lately. So yeah.
It's beautiful. I love that all of the individuals that are really making an impact in this world, like yourself, are always beginning from a place of service. It's always from a place of heart. Like no matter whom I speak to, I really just wanted to help people. And you recognize trends, you recognize ways in which to, through editing, probably evoke more emotions to get people to feel more, which creates a trickle down impact.
Yeah. That's, I think, what I'm best at doing is, like, I think that what I'm best at doing is helping them evoke those emotions that they don't always connect to. And I do that by connecting to those emotions deep inside myself and then bringing those out into a place that's real. So even if I have a video that's not necessarily something that I'm going through specifically, I try to find a place in myself where, when was a time in my life I did feel like that? And I try to connect with that and then bring that out. And I think that's like the biggest thing. Like the messages that I get from people are just like, I felt like someone gets it. Like I felt like you know what it was like to go through that. And that's like, for some people that are going through something, they feel like they're the only people in the world that have ever experienced it. Knowing that someone else gets it and can relate to them and is speaking words that they're not speaking themselves is really powerful. So it's definitely not coming from a place of like, I want people to like hear my story and for them to, what I'm doing isn't vlogging. Like I'm not trying to bring people into my everyday life. I'm trying to bring up topics so that they can connect to themselves in a way that's more meaningful.
You're inspiring.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, you really are. I mean, you are connecting to people's hearts in such a beautiful way. And exactly what you just said. It's about those individuals that are maybe going through a challenging time, whether that be a breakup or, coming into empowering themselves with their choices or how they identify within themselves, within the world, and recognizing that in this world that feels very isolated right now, in the fifth dimension that we're playing with online, you are creating a space of connection. So thank you.
Yeah. Aw, that means a lot. Yeah. I mean, I feel like extremely fortunate to be in this place. And that's why I've been also thinking a lot lately about what exactly I want to do with this. Like the ability, because it takes a while to you build up a platform and an audience and to when you really feel like you're able to make a difference. And now I'm just figuring out, okay, what do I want to do with this to take it a step further? So
you're always making a difference. Even if you're making a difference in one person's life or 1 million people's lives, you're making a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah. And everyone needs to hear that that's listening. Everyone. You're making a difference. Even if you smile on one person on the street, you just being you and radiant and showing up, you have no idea the impact that you're leaving by smiling at someone that maybe just felt like they were so alone in that moment. That's making a difference.
Absolutely. The world can never, there's never enough kindness. You can never be too kind. So anytime that you're spreading that, you're doing something good.
Yes.
I don't know what the effect that has on other people, because you can say something to someone that makes their day, and then because they were in a good mood, they end up doing something that's even greater. So it's you never know how impactful you actually are. And your words really do matter. So the fact that, I can make a video that gets seen by 1 million people, maybe if even 100 of those people end up making a difference, that's 100 more acts of kindness that didn't exist beforehand. So
they make 100 and they, connect with 50. It's a ripple down effect, right?
Yeah.
So you said something really fascinating about making a video go viral because of specific edits.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk us through that process? Because I really want to know.
Yes. Well, a lot of it comes down to there are common mistakes that people make when editing for social media, because I think that I'm only speaking through the videos that I've seen from other people, but I think that the typical way to edit a video is linear. So when we're told about a story or when we see a movie, there's a very clear beginning, middle, and end. And on social media, that doesn't exist, because people only care about what's the point you're trying to make and what's the emotions you're trying to evoke in me. Why should I care? The thing that I want to always teach people, and this is the mantra that I've been living by throughout my entire career, is make me care. Why should I care about what you have to say? So I feel when it comes to optimizing for Facebook, for instance, it's the way that I describe it is you're in a room with a lot of people that are talking, and you have something that you want to say, and you start saying it, and then someone else says something and completely cuts you off, and then everyone's focusing on what they have to say because they were a little bit louder. And so when you're scrolling through your social media feed, that's what it's like. You're competing with all these loud voices, and you want to get your point across the strongest, and you want to make them stay for as long as possible. So you need to start with a bang. You can't start with your company logo or your brand or a long intro or music or a scene that gets built up too slowly. You want to start off with something that pulls them in. So people will give me edits for videos. They're I just feel the video is good, but it's just not, I don't think that people will share it. And then I just say, well, what's the most powerful moment of the video? Show me that. And then I'll say, okay, well, why don't we start with that? And they say, no, but that's the peak of the video. And I say, well, people don't people's attention spans are so short that if you don't start with the most interesting thing, they won't stick around. So, and even in my scripts, I try to set the tone really, really quickly. I start speaking immediately. There's no room for like the buildup that you would have in an hour and a half long film. So a lot of my edits are just like, well, how can we bring the emotion to the forefront and start off with action immediately is really what I focus on.
I love it.
Yeah.
My mind's going like, okay, I got to change all of my videos. So how do you come up with ideas? How do you create? I mean, I understand the process of working with individuals first to recognize a problem and offer a solution, but also want to connect, right? To make sure that they feel heard. Besides that, what inspires you to create these videos?
Well, I'm inspired. Well, sometimes I'll be inspired by like a piece of writing that I see and I'm like, ooh, I would love to like help turn that into a video. Sometimes it will just be like a concept of like something artistic that I want to try out. So I try to think of like, well, which topic would best fit it. But I think right now I'm most inspired by my audience because they are just like the messages that I receive on a daily basis and the comments that I get on my videos. Like, they're just like, I just feel like they're my friends and like they're always like saying like, these are the problems that we have. And I try to look at those problems and say, well, how can I solve this in a new way? Because like I feel like a lot of like the topics that I cover are on like love and heartbreak and relationships. And so I'm like just constantly finding that there's different angles to like work off of. So yeah, I think it's just like the people that watch my videos are my biggest inspiration.
If you don't have an audience yet, you don't have that instant feedback, how would you suggest someone going about the beginning of building a story that they want to tell through a video?
So I think, well, the first video that I made, and this also depends on like what, because the niche that I'm in right now is more towards like the inspirational, motivational videos, more like in the artistic side. But then there could be people that are great entrepreneurs that are giving advice, or people that are great at giving advice on like fitness and wellness and health. So this might not work for everyone, but I think the first thing, like one of the first rules of like make me care is like, who are you and why should I care about what you have to say? So the first video that I ever put out on my page was called Watch This If You're Feeling Lost. And it was just a video of me telling my story about like the first time that I ever felt lost. And I honestly didn't think that like anyone would watch this video. I was like, I just want to make it because like I want to tell people who I am and I want to give some sort of introduction. And these are the things that like made me who I am today. And I just brought up like the 3 points in my life that I think would make people care, possibly, like the things that I cared about. And that was the first thing that I put out. And then that sort of created this like snowball effect that wanted me to create more. So that's the first thing that I would tell every creator to ask themselves, like, why should someone care? Like, what would make you care? And then focus on that, because the things that you care about, that's the things that are going to shine through your videos. If you try to copy someone else, that won't be sustainable and people will feel it. Because I tried vlogging. Like, I took down the videos from my YouTube channel, but like, I tried daily vlogging. I tried, doing like challenge videos and Q&A videos and like all the videos that you see online that work for other people. And it like just wasn't working for me because I didn't actually care. And the second that like what I really like, what gets my heart pounding is when I'm able to take a message that I think is really powerful and match it with the right visuals and the right music to evoke some sort of emotion. Like if I'm able to feel something when I'm editing, that's the most magical feeling for me. Because I know that other people are going to feel it when they watch it. But for some people, it's like, well, I want to just give the best piece of advice, or like, I just want to like, help people live their best lives by doing X, Y, and Z, or I want to review this product. Everyone has their thing that they're passionate about, and there's no right or wrong thing. It's just really listening to yourself and thinking, well, what video would I want to create even if no one watched it?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So many things to chew on later this afternoon after this call. So good.
Yeah.
If there is one thing that's in your heart that's really important for you to share right now, what would that one message be?
Ooh. Man, I have to think about one message I think is very important.
To inspire others to get out there and create viral videos or create content and
I think that a message for people to watch, like in this context, I think something that people should know that if they do want to create and they do want to go out there and they're afraid of being vulnerable, I think that do it anyways, because the times where you think that people are going to think that you're silly or stupid for putting yourself out there are actually the people that are going to think that you're brave. And just remember that the people that you look up to and admire are also afraid. And they also have days where they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to put myself out there, get in front of the camera, but they do it anyways. So yeah, the thing that I want people to know is that, like, if there's something that you're passionate about, but you're afraid, just do it anyways.
Yes. So good. Sarah, if people want to take your course or work with you or hire you, I know you have no capacity to take on any one-on-one clients right now, but you have a course coming out. So how do people find you besides Googling your name? But how do people get to you, get to your course, and work in the future?
Yeah, so actually I don't have my website up yet. I'm releasing my course later this week, so by the time this is up, it will already be out. The link to it will be in the description, like on my Instagram page. I am Sarah Snow. And yeah, the course is going to be broken up into people who just want to learn from the lessons. So there's a community package, and then I actually am doing one-on-one consultations for a more VIP experience. It will be limited to only 10 people. So if people are looking for like more one-on-one coaching on like how to build up your brand online, I'm also offering that. But I'll be available soon, and the class is starting January 9th.
Okay. And we'll put it in the link to the YouTube video and the iTunes podcast, so everyone will have access to that.
Yay!
Yay! Well, Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time to share all.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I'm Carrie Merriam, and you have been listening to the Embodied Enlightenment podcast. You can follow Embodied Enlightenment on social media or myself on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you've liked this podcast, this episode that you just listened to, please go over to iTunes and comment, subscribe, and leave a review, as well as share it with anyone you feel could benefit from the teachings within this episode. Stay tuned next week for another conscious conversation. And as always, thank you so much for being here.